Good morning, chickadoes and chickadees. Today is Tuesday, January 5th, and this is your lesson video. So as we jump into Unit 5 focuses on line of reasoning and commentary, which is really just a part of your analysis. It is your explanation of how your ideas came to be. It is just showing us where you're coming from so that we understand rather than just assuming that you're right and that we're on your side. So whether we're doing a rhetorical analysis or we're doing argumentation or as we build into our synthesis style writing, it is really building that communication to our audience of our way of thinking. Like, this is why this is going on. This is how we see what's happening. So we're going to be building on what we already know with rhetorical analysis and argumentative writing and building more to be a sophisticated writer and blending that evidence and that analysis in our writings. So I wanted to go back and make sure that we're good on the rhetorical triangle, looking at a rhetorical triangle report, just kind of helping you build a template for that writing. And then just kind of jumping in with this idea of identity, of who we are. We jumped into it semester 1, looking at our identity project where you had to do some drawings and analysis of those symbols and colors and images. So we're just kind of extending on that. So when you go to rhetorical triangle template, it's going to force you to make a copy. And I want you to have this so that you can always go back and look at it. So we know that where we began back in August. And what I would suggest you do is in your drive, create some sort of folder that is labeled AP English, so that it's just all there and you're not having to dig it around throughout your entire drive. So the first note that we're going to look at today is the rhetorical triangle in itself. And this is, again, just an image. There's different variations out there. A lot of them I don't agree with because of the whole ethos, pathos, logos, but I included it here just because y'all are familiar with those terms. Just remember, I don't want to see it in your writing. I don't want to see that the writer used logos or the writer used pathos. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't mean anything, but y'all rely heavily on that terminology. You need to know it. You need to be able to identify it, but never type it in your writings. We need to be a little bit more specific about what is going on, what the writer is actually doing in the text. So we need to remember that in this rhetorical triangle, we're looking at how everything revolves and works in tandem with each other. Remember, tandem, like a watch, looking at the gears, how everything works together cohesively. It revolves around the purpose. We have to make sure that we got that on point. We have to make sure that we know exactly what the overarching purpose is, because the claims are the reasons, are the smaller tasks that they're trying to achieve. Maybe the reasons why overall they are correct. So we have to be sure that we hit the purpose correctly. If not, you're going to miss the mark, especially when it comes to rhetorical analysis essays. When we talk about the speaker, I also want you to envision the idea of a persona. This is the role that they're playing in the text that they're taking on. This is the side of them that we get to see in their speech, in their letter, in their essay, in the article, or like today's pieces, we're going to look at songs. And be able to identify the speaker, writer is like the person, but know that there's a persona that they put on it. Yes, I'm Nicole Martinez, but the persona that I put on here is a teacher. I'm a totally different person, have a different totally persona in different aspects of my life with different audiences. We have to be able to identify, is there a bias? Is there something that can skew what they're trying to achieve? Is it something that can skew their sense of credibility? So we have to be able to be aware that that does exist. Looking at who the audience is, and just know it's never you. When we look at these pieces, it's not just you in general. We're looking at these cliques, these groups of people. Are we looking at politicians? Are we looking at mothers? Are we looking at students? Are we looking at teenagers dealing with depression? Are we looking at young women dealing with body image issues? Are we looking at young men who are dealing with and so it's like testosterone versus estrogen issues of being manly enough or feminine, or dealing with that sense of masculinity? Again, we're looking at these different cliques. So the more that you can identify, the better. Subject topic, is this about, mental illness? Is this about politics? Is this about societal health? Is this about education, gender identity, like we're looking at now? And tone shift, just kind of seeing, okay, what is the overall tone of this piece? And are there multiple tones? Do we have a shift? Do we have a gradient scale getting better or getting worse or flip flopping? Again, we have to be able to pick up on those emotional tones in the text in itself, because that really drives the purpose. Looking at the devices, are they using metaphors? Are they using anaphoras? Are they using repetition? Like, we're looking at all these devices that the writer is choosing to use in their text. The mode of writing, are they telling a story? Are they using exemplification? Are they using a description definition style of writing to kind of drive their purpose or to achieve what they're trying to achieve? And then identifying their claims. What are their reasons for why they're right? What are the reasons of why they're taking on this position or this topic in general? So I just want you to be clear on this rhetorical triangle, which is why I built for y'all, if you go back and look at the next note, which is the report, it's kind of putting this all together in a writing style, a graphic organizer, because for some of us, writing it on a triangle like this just doesn't work. So again, this is going to force you to make a copy, and I want you to have this just so that it's a writing template for you all the time. So as you see a text, a piece, a letter, a song, you're able to say, okay, here's the title, who's the speaker, what's the genre, because the genre does play a part in driving the purpose. Like, are they writing a letter versus an article? Why? Is it a documentary? Is it a song? What's the purpose of that genre? We can talk about it. What is the topic subject? This is about, again, mental illness, marriage, growing up, being responsible. What is the overall purpose? That exigence, like we saw in the rhetorical triangle down here at the bottom. What is that event, that switch that was flipped that made them go? Was it a crime that they saw committed? Was it a breakup, like we'll see in today's piece? Was it seeing a battle for an argument? Like, what was the moment, the event that made them go in and write their piece? To whom is the writer speaking to? Who is that persona addressing? Again, not you. It is this collection of individuals. Again, the persona. What is that persona that writer's saying? So yeah, they are a celebrity. Yes, they are a writer. Yes, they are a journalist. But are they taking the persona of a concerned parent, a concerned constituent, an aggravated educator? What is the persona, the role that they're taking on? Rhetorical appeals is kind of you to brainstorm, jot down lists. What devices do you see evident in the text if you're not able to annotate the text? Because when you're reading the article letter, so you can write like ooh metaphor, ooh simile, ooh repetition, anaphora. This is another way to kind of document all that information. Claims, you can document again here the reasons. Why they're taking on that purpose, why they're correct, why we should side with them. So claims is just as a fancy word for reason. Tone, what is the tone? And if you identify any shifts, the multitude of tones. Rhetorical modes, like, is it a definition essay? Is it the clarification? Is it exemplification? Is it a narration? Are they telling a story to get their point across? And then any bias that you see there. And then with the blank is like anything else that comes to mind that is evident, that is important, significant enough for you to write about or mention, that is in the text in itself. Because again, I don't want us to get out of practice of the rhetorical analysis. So what you're going to do in the read to watch, that document looks like this. You're going to read and listen to, if you click on the picture, it is hyperlinked to the YouTube video of the song Roar by Katy Perry, and here are the lyrics, so you use it for evidence. And then here is the second song. If you just keep on going, here's Pardon Me by Katy Perry. Again, click on the picture, you'll get the video, and the lyrics are there for the textual evidence. So I want you to listen to those two songs. I love these songs when it comes to the sense of identity, because we're looking at this speaker, this woman, this person coming into their own. Again, not Katy Perry. She's the writer in the sense, we'll use her as a writer, but our speaker, this woman, is affected, impacted in a negative, a positive way about in these situations, dealing with a partner, dealing with a significant other, and how it changes them and has them come into their own, into who they really are. So for the assignments, what you're going to do is you're going to read my rhetorical analysis. So what I did is thinking about this rhetorical triangle, thinking about this rhetorical triangle report of all these elements that are evident in part of me. That's the song that I decided to write on. I just wrote a paragraph. I just kind of just put it out there of what I'm seeing so far in the song Part of Me. So my topic sentence in this paragraph is pretty much my thesis. I'm identifying the writer, Katy Perry, song, genre, title, Part of Me. I'm identifying who the speaker is, that sense of persona, and then a little bit about the audience, but more so the purpose. That's why I want to drive is whether we do an essay as a thesis or we do a paragraph in the topic sentence. We need to identify who is speaking, what's going on, and what is the purpose of this text. So here's my first sentence. In Katy Perry's song Part of Me, the speaker is a woman devastated by her partner's inability to be monogamous and is urging others in her position to not be defeated by infidelity, but to rather embrace this opportunity to find yourself and invest in your own happiness. Okay? That's the purpose of the song Part of Me. So then what I did for the rest of the paragraph, just for another couple of sentences, is I'm talking specifically about, okay, how does our writer do this? How does our speaker, Perry, create this sense, create this message in the text? So I'm using those key phrases. Like in the song, Perry starts off with a dejected tone. So I noticed that it was a negative tone. It was a sad tone. It was a tone of not being wanted. And as she compares herself to being poison in your mouth and creates that image that her partner chewed her up and spit her out. So let me talk about this a little bit. So I'm talking about tone, and I'm talking about how the image in the text creates that particular tone. So I'm identifying it. I'm showing you where it's at. Compares herself to being, so I can use metaphor. It's actually simile. I can say the word simile, but I don't need to get hung up on terms. As long as I'm showing what's being done, which is the comparing, I'm good. Compares herself to being poison in your mouth. And what I want you to see what I did is that I embedded my evidence, that I made it flow. If the quotes weren't there, you wouldn't be able to tell where my words stopped and her words started. And that's what I want to start building as we are working on, as we build into our own writings and integrating evidence into our text or into our paragraphs. I want to kind of build that evidence in our writing rather than just kind of stuck in. So let's work on blending, embedding that evidence so it kind of blends in and creates the image that her partner chewed her up and spit her out. I want you to notice what I did here. I put those brackets there because in the song it says chewed me up and spit me out. But again, I'm trying to work on blending that wording of it, that use of the pronoun just did not work. So what I did, because I never want to jeopardize the integrity of the quote that I'm using, I used the brackets to show that something else was there instead, but I'm putting this word so that it flows a little bit better. So rather than it says, and creates the image that her partner chewed me up and spit me out, doesn't work. The better use of the pronoun would be her, so I put it in the brackets. That's what the brackets are for. So that when we work with quotes and we need to change a word here, change the conjugation, like rather than an ED, I need to put an ING, I would take the ED off and in brackets put ING, so maybe chewing her up and spitting her out. Again, allowing us to add in without changing the original text. We're just kind of showing our audience, our reader, this is what really is happening. So let's continue. She makes this comparison to portray the feeling of not being wanted and how vile she is to her partner. Her dejected tone shows that this has hurt her feelings and her sense of worth in herself. The breakup creates a chasm in who she was before and the unknown role she plays now. I need to change that. The tone then shifts. So again, that's a little bit of my analysis. That's my little bit of take, breaking down the interpretation of it, of why that writer did it that way. So I continue. The tone then shifts to a sense of assertiveness and as confidence as a speaker takes control over her future and focuses on herself. She creates this shift by saying that was then, and this is now. Now look at me. This is the part of me. So I really couldn't blend, embed my evidence as I wanted to there, so I can work on that. But I want to put the evidence there in because this is a poem, this is a song. I want to keep integrity to the structure of it. As we go back to the evidence, look how it looks here. Remember that what I did here was all I did was I put the little slash, that forward slash, to show that change in the line break. Okay, to show that there's an enchantment, there's the end of the line, there's the next line, but to still give that paragraph structure here. And signifies an end to her mourning and creates a sense of closure for that past relationship. So your assignment today is I want you to take my text and you can copy and paste it in the assignment that you're going to create in just a second. But I want you to add on to it. Either fix my evidence, try to blend it, and maybe add in some analysis, or maybe tag on another piece or another way that the writer created that message of getting over that bad breakup and reinvesting in your own happiness. You just kind of keep going on with the paragraph, add a little more, create some sense of closure to my paragraph. So you can add and redo my evidence and add into that analysis, or come up with an additional concept, rhetorical device that Perry uses to achieve the purpose of to embrace the opportunity to find yourself and invest in your own happiness using part of me. So what you do in the assignment is, let me get to it. Again, your page is going to look different. When you go to submit, click on create. And what you can do is copy all of this and paste it and just add on. Create that sense of closure like I'm asking you to. That's today's assignment. Okay, so you'll click submit, select the second option, create. It'll give you that little notepad Word doc. Copy and paste my paragraph there and just finish it off for me. All right. I love y'all. Have a great day. Make good choices. And if you need any help, I'm on the Zoom call if you need anything. Love you guys.